I thought I was calling his mother. But when a woman answered, "Hello, darling, are you coming home soon?" I froze. My husband's autocorrect had betrayed a secret. Another wife, another life. I am Sarah Mitchell, 34, a pediatric nurse from Portland. I thought I knew the man I married 5 years ago. I was wrong about everything. The wrong number. The kitchen smelled like garlic and rosemary. I was stirring pasta sauce when I picked up James's phone to check the recipe I'd texted myself earlier. That's when I saw it. The text message thread with what should have been Mom, but autocorrect had changed it to Monica. My stomach tightened. Who was Monica? I scrolled through the messages. They were casual, warm, intimate. Miss you. Can't wait to see you tonight. The kids are asking about you. Kids? His mother didn't have young kids. My hand started trembling. I found the number saved under a contact labeled M. Just the letter M. Nothing else. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. Before I could stop myself, I pressed the call button. It rang twice. "Hello, darling," a woman's voice answered, bright and affectionate. "Are you coming home soon? Dinner's almost ready." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. The wooden spoon fell from my other hand and clattered against the stove. "James, hello? Are you there?" I hung up. My entire body went cold. The room spun around me. I gripped the counter to steady myself, gasping for air like I'd been underwater too long. Who was this woman calling my husband darling, asking when he'd be home, talking about dinner and kids? I grabbed his phone again with shaking fingers. I opened his call log, scrolling back through days, then weeks, then months. The number appeared everywhere. Hundreds of calls. Some lasted minutes, others over an hour. 3 years. The calls went back 3 years. My legs gave out. I slid down to the kitchen floor, the cold tile pressing against my back. 3 years of lies. 3 years of this woman, this Monica. The pasta sauce bubbled over on the stove, hissing and spitting. I didn't move. I just sat there on the floor, staring at the phone screen, watching 3 years of my marriage dissolve into evidence of betrayal. The man I trusted, the man I'd built a life with, had been living another life entirely. And I'd had no idea. My sister knew I called Emma the moment I could breathe again. My younger sister, my best friend, the person I told everything to. She answered on the first ring. "Sarah? What's wrong? You sound terrible." "James is cheating on me." The words came out broken, strangled. "He has another woman, someone named Monica. I just called her by accident and she thought I was him and—" "Oh God," Emma whispered. I waited for her shock, her outrage, her immediate support. But there was only silence. Long, heavy silence that stretched too far. "Emma?" "I'm so sorry," she finally said, her voice small. Something in her tone made my blood run cold. "What do you mean you're sorry? Sorry that it happened, or sorry that—" "I saw them." The confession tumbled out fast, desperate. 8 months ago. I was at that Italian place downtown, Marcello's, you know the one, and I saw James with a woman. They were holding hands across the table. He kissed her, Sarah, right there in public. I couldn't process what I was hearing. 8 months ago? I didn't know what to do. I thought maybe it was just a date. Maybe he'd end it. Maybe— You didn't tell me. My voice rose to a scream. You saw my husband kissing another woman, and you said nothing? I didn't want to ruin your happiness. Emma was crying now. You seem so content, so in love. I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe she was just a friend. Maybe— Friends don't kiss like that. I was on my feet now, pacing the kitchen like a caged animal. You let me live in a lie for 8 months. You sat at our dinner table. You came to our anniversary party. You smiled at me and said nothing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. My voice broke. You're my sister. You were supposed to protect me. Instead, you protected him. That's not fair. Fair, I laughed, bitter and harsh. You want to talk about fair? I trusted you, Emma. I trusted both of you. The realization crashed over me like ice water. The betrayal wasn't just James's anymore. It was hers, too. My own sister had watched me play the fool and said absolutely nothing. She'd chosen his secret over my truth. I need to go, I said. Sarah, please. I hung up. 2 betrayals in one night. My husband and my sister. The 2 people I'd trusted most in the world had both been lying to my face. The second home. I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't eat. I could barely think through the rage and heartbreak that consumed me. By morning, I'd made a decision. I needed to see this Monica with my own eyes. I waited until James left for work, or whatever he actually did with his days. Then I opened his phone again. I'd guessed his password years ago, and he'd never changed it. Idiot. I searched through his GPS history, his saved locations, anything that might lead me to her. There. An address marked as storage unit on the east side of town. Except we didn't have a storage unit. I knew every bill we paid, every account we shared. This was something else. I drove across Portland with my heart in my throat. The address led me to a quiet residential neighborhood, tree-lined streets with modest houses and children's bikes and driveways. Normal, peaceful, the kind of place you'd raise a family. I parked 3 houses down and waited. It didn't take long. James's car sat in the driveway of a small blue house with white shutters. His car, right there, bold as anything, like he had every right to be there. I got out and crept closer, staying behind the hedges. Through the large front window, I could see everything. The living room was warm and bright, toys scattered across the carpet, and there was James, sitting on the couch, a woman with dark hair curled against his side. Monica, it had to be Monica. 2 small children, maybe 5 and 3 years old, played on the floor at their feet. He was laughing. That deep, genuine laugh I thought belonged to me. He picked up the younger child, a little girl with pigtails, and spun her around. She squealed with delight. Then he turned to Monica and kissed her. Not a quick peck. A real kiss, tender and familiar. The kind of kiss you give someone you truly love. I thought I might be sick right there in the bushes, but I didn't run. I didn't scream. Instead, I pulled out my phone and started taking photos. Picture after picture. The house, the car, him with Monica, him with the children, the family portrait hanging on the wall behind them. Evidence. Cold, hard evidence. My heart wasn't breaking anymore. It was turning to ice, freezing solid in my chest. The tears stopped. The shaking stopped. Something else took over. Something harder, sharper, more dangerous. James had made his choice. He'd built this life, this lie. And now I was going to tear it all down. The wedding album I never saw. I hired a private investigator the next morning. Her name was Ruth Chen, and she came highly recommended. I sat in her small office above a dry cleaner and handed her everything I had. The photos, the phone records, the address. I need to know everything, I told her. How long this has been going on, who she is, all of it. Ruth nodded, her expression sympathetic but professional. Give me a week. It took 5 days. When she called me back to her office, the look on her face told me it was bad. Worse than I'd imagined. She laid out a folder on the desk between us. Sarah, I need you to prepare yourself. Just tell me. She opened the folder. Inside were official documents. Marriage certificates? Not 1, 2. Your husband married Monica Brennan 7 years ago in a courthouse ceremony here in Portland. Ruth's voice was gentle, careful. They have 2 children together, ages 5 and 3, 7 years. Before me. The room tilted. And then, Ruth continued, pulling out another document. He married you 5 years ago, 6 months after marrying Monica. I stared at the papers. Both marriages were legal. Both certificates bore his signature, his name, his lies. That means I couldn't finish the sentence. It means, legally, his marriage to Monica is the valid one, Ruth said quietly. You were never actually his wife, Sarah. Not in the eyes of the law. The second marriage is void because he was already married, never his wife. The words echoed in my skull. I was never his wife. I was his mistress. The other woman. Except I hadn't known it. I'd walked down an aisle in white, said vows in front of my family, signed papers I thought made us husband and wife. All of it was fake. A performance. A lie. There's more, Ruth said, pulling out photographs. Wedding photos. Not ours, theirs. James in a dark suit, Monica in a simple white dress, both of them young and smiling. Honeymoon pictures from Hawaii, birthday parties, Christmas mornings, an entire life documented in glossy print. I made it to her bathroom just in time. I vomited until there was nothing left, my body rejecting the truth the way my mind couldn't. When I came back out, Ruth had water waiting. I'm so sorry, she said. I wasn't his wife. I had never been his wife. Everything I thought I knew was a lie. Emma's confession. I went to Emma's apartment that night. I didn't call first. I just showed up and pounded on her door until she answered. Sarah, tell me the truth. I pushed past her into the living room. All of it. Right now. Emma's face crumpled. She'd been crying already, I could tell. Good. She should cry. What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me why you kept his secret. I threw the folder from Ruth onto her coffee table. Did you know he was married to someone else? Did you know I was never really his wife? Emma stared at the documents, her face going white. Oh my God, Sarah, I swear I didn't know about that. But you knew something? I stepped closer. You've been lying to me for 8 months at least. What else, Emma? What else have you been hiding? She broke, just collapsed onto her couch and started sobbing, her whole body shaking. He paid me. The words hung in the air like poison. What? James paid me $500 a month. Emma couldn't look at me. For 3 years. He said he needed someone to cover for him sometimes, to tell you he was with me when he wasn't, to keep you from getting suspicious. He said it was just to protect your feelings until he figured out how to handle things. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. You took money to lie to me? I needed it. Emma's voice rose, defensive. I had student loans, credit card debt. I was drowning, Sarah. $500 a month was everything to me. And he said it wasn't hurting anyone, that he just needed time. Time to do what? Build a whole second family? I laughed, high and hysterical. You helped him do this to me for money. You sold me out for money. I'm your sister. No. The word came out cold and final. Sisters don't do this. Family doesn't do this. You chose money over me. You chose his lies over my truth. Whatever we were, whatever we had, it's dead now. Please, Sarah, please. Emma reached for me. I stepped back. Don't touch me. Don't call me. Don't come to my house. You're dead to me, Emma, just like he is. I walked out of her apartment and didn't look back. She was screaming my name, begging me to stop, to listen, to forgive her. But I was done listening, done forgiving, done being the fool that everyone lied to. Some betrayals don't deserve second chances, and this was one of them. Meeting Monica, I called Monica 2 days later. My hands shook as I dialed the number that had started all of this. She answered on the 3rd ring, her voice cautious. Hello? Monica, my name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm married to James. Or at least I thought I was. I took a deep breath. We need to talk. There was a long silence. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Check your email. I'm sending you something right now. I sent her 3 photos. My wedding photos. Me in my white dress, James in his tuxedo, both of us cutting our cake. Then I waited. I heard her gasp. Oh my God. Oh my God. This can't be. It's real. All of it. He married me 5 years ago. I had no idea you existed until 3 days ago when I accidentally called your number. Monica was crying now. He told me he traveled for work. That's why he was gone so much. I believed. I know, so did I. My voice was surprisingly steady. We need to meet, in person, today. We agreed on a coffee shop halfway between her house and mine. Neutral territory. I got there first and sat in the back corner, watching the door. When Monica walked in, I recognized her immediately from the photos. Dark hair, kind face, exhausted eyes. She looked as shattered as I felt. She sat down across from me. For a long moment, we just stared at each other. 2 women who'd loved the same man, 2 women who'd been played by the same liar. How long? Monica finally asked. 5 years. You? 7. She closed her eyes. We have 2 kids together, Emma and Jack. He's their father. They love him. My heart broke for her children, for the innocent lives caught in James's web of lies. I'm so sorry. I thought I was his only wife. Monica's voice broke. For 7 years, I thought we were building a life together. And he was just what? Playing house with both of us? He used us both. The anger was rising in me again, hot and sharp. He took from both of us, lied to both of us, made fools of both of us. Monica looked up, and I saw something shift in her expression, something hard and determined. He's not going to get away with this. No, I agreed. He's not. We sat there in that coffee shop for 3 hours, two strangers bound together by one man's betrayal. And by the time we left, we had a plan. James had destroyed both our lives. Now we were going to destroy his. Building the case, Monica and I met every day for the next 2 weeks. We became a team, united by fury and betrayal. We pooled every piece of evidence we had: documents, photos, receipts, bank statements. The picture that emerged was even uglier than we'd imagined. James had been using both our incomes to fund his double life. He'd convinced me to put my nursing paychecks into our joint account, which he'd then used to pay for his other family's expenses. Monica's teaching salary had been going to our mortgage, except the house was in his name only. "Look at this," Monica said one afternoon, spreading papers across her kitchen table. Her kids were at school. We had the house to ourselves. "These are credit card charges from last year. Vegas trip, fancy dinners, a new watch. I never saw any of that." I pulled out my own statements. "Same charges on mine. He made us both pay for the same things twice." But the worst discovery came when I checked my credit report. There were 3 loans I'd never authorized: student loans, a car loan, a personal loan, all taken out in my name with forged signatures. $20,000 in debt I didn't know existed. "That's identity theft," Monica breathed. "That's fraud." We gathered everything: every receipt that showed duplicate charges, every forged signature, every lie documented on paper. Monica found hidden bank accounts. I found secret credit cards. Together, we found evidence of a man who'd built an empire of deception on the backs of 2 women who'd loved him. "We need to go to the police," I said. Monica nodded. "We need a lawyer, too. A good one." We found both. The detective's name was Martinez, and he listened to our story with growing anger on his face. He examined our evidence, photographed every document, took our statements. "Bigamy is a felony in Oregon," he said. "And with the identity theft, fraud, and financial abuse, we're looking at serious prison time if we can prove all this." "We can prove it," Monica and I said in unison. Detective Martinez smiled grimly. "Then let's nail this bastard." By the end of that meeting, we had a case. A real case. James thought he could juggle 2 lives forever. He thought we'd never find out, never meet, never compare notes. He'd underestimated both of us, and that was going to be his biggest mistake, the trap. We planned the confrontation carefully. Monica and I wanted him to know exactly what he'd done before the police arrested him. We wanted him to see us together, to understand that his lies had finally caught up with him. I texted James that I was going to a nursing conference in Seattle. I'd be gone for 3 days. His response was immediate. "Have fun, babe. Love you." Monica told him she was taking the kids to her mother's for the weekend. He texted her back. "Miss you already. See you Monday." But we weren't going anywhere. We were both waiting at my house. Our house, the one he'd bought with my money, sitting on the couch together like old friends, which in a strange way we'd become. "Are you nervous?" Monica asked. "Terrified," I admitted. "You?" "Same." She reached over and squeezed my hand. "But we're doing this together." We heard his car in the driveway at 6:30. Right on schedule. He always came to my house. On the weekends, Monica thought he was traveling for work. The door opened. We heard him whistling as he walked down the hall. "Sarah," he called out. "Babe, I thought you were in Seattle. Your car's in the..." He walked into the living room and froze. Monica and I sat there, side by side, staring at him. I watched the color drain from his face, watched his mouth open and close like a fish, watched him try to calculate some explanation, some excuse, some lie that could possibly fix this. There wasn't one. "Hi, honey," I said, my voice dripping with venom. "I'd like you to meet Monica, your actual wife, the one you married before you pretended to marry me. And I'd like you to meet Sarah," Monica added, "the woman you committed bigamy with while you were already married to me." James stumbled backward. "This isn't..." "I can explain." "Explain what?" I stood up. "Explain how you married both of us. Explain how you had 2 families. Explain how you stole my identity and ruined my credit. Please, James. Explain." He looked between us, panic written across his face. "It's not what you think." "We know everything," Monica said coldly. "Every lie, every manipulation, every crime." "Crime?" James's voice rose. "Now wait a minute. Bigamy is a crime," I said. "Identity theft is a crime. Fraud is a crime, And you've committed all of them. The look on his face, the fear, the realization, the desperate calculation. It was almost worth all the pain. Almost sister's reckoning. 3 weeks after James's arrest, Emma showed up at my door. I saw her through the peephole and almost didn't answer, but something made me open it. Curiosity, maybe, or the faint hope that she'd somehow found a way to make this right. She looked terrible, thinner, paler, her eyes red from crying. "Sarah, please, I need to talk to you." "There's nothing to say." "I'm sorry." The words tumbled out desperately. "I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how much damage I was causing. I thought I was just helping him buy time. I didn't know about Monica, about the kids, about any of it." "But you knew you were lying to me." I crossed my arms. "You knew you were taking money to betray me. That was enough." I know I was wrong. I was selfish and stupid and—" She broke down sobbing. "You're my sister. You're all I have. Please, Sarah, please forgive me." I felt nothing. No sympathy, no anger, nothing. She'd killed whatever love I had for her the moment she chose James's money over my truth. I handed her an envelope. "This is from my lawyer. It's a cease and desist letter. You're not to contact me again. Not by phone, not by email, not in person. If you do, I'll pursue a restraining order." Emma stared at the envelope like it was a snake. "You can't be serious. Family doesn't sell each other out for $500 a month." My voice was ice. "You made your choice. You chose money. You chose lies. Now you have to live with that." "But I'm your sister." "No, a sister would have told me the truth. A sister would have protected me. You did neither. You're just someone who shares my DNA, nothing more." Emma's face crumpled. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. "Please, Sarah, please. Goodbye." "Emma." I closed the door in her face and locked it. I could hear her sobbing on the other side, begging, pleading. But I walked away. Back to my living room, back to the life I was trying to rebuild from the ashes of everything I'd lost. Some people say family is everything, that blood is thicker than water, that you have to forgive family no matter what they do. But I'd learned the hard way that some betrayals are too deep to forgive. Some wounds don't heal, and sometimes the only way to survive is to cut out the poison, even when it shares your last name. Emma had made her choice. Now she had to live with it, just like I had to live with mine. New beginnings, the court case took 6 months. 6 months of depositions, testimony, evidence presentation, and watching James try to justify the unjustifiable. He claimed he'd been confused, overwhelmed, trapped. He claimed he'd loved us both. He claimed he'd planned to fix everything eventually. The judge didn't buy any of it. James was sentenced to 3 years in prison for bigamy, fraud, and identity theft. Monica's marriage was annulled. My marriage was declared void from the beginning. We both filed for full restitution of the money he'd stolen. It would take years to get back even a fraction of what he'd taken, but it was something. Monica and I stayed friends through it all. Strange as it sounds, she became one of my closest confidants. We'd both survived the same nightmare. We understood each other in ways no one else could. I started therapy the week after James's sentencing. Dr. Reynolds was patient and kind as I worked through the betrayal, the anger, the shattered trust. It was slow, painful work. Some days I felt like I was making progress. Other days, I felt like I'd never trust anyone again. Emma sent letters, every week like clockwork. I never opened them. My lawyer had instructed me to keep them as evidence in case I needed the restraining order, but I didn't read them. Whatever she had to say, I didn't want to hear it. Some betrayals don't deserve second chances. 8 months after everything fell apart, I made a decision. I couldn't stay in Portland anymore. There were too many memories, too many ghosts, too much pain soaked into every street corner. I needed a fresh start. I accepted a position at a children's hospital in Seattle. New city, new job, new life. I packed up my apartment. I'd moved out of the house I'd shared with James immediately and drove north on a rainy April morning. As I crossed the bridge out of Portland, I felt something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, not healing, not yet, but possibility. The possibility that maybe, someday, I could trust again, love again, build a life that wasn't founded on lies. I'd learned hard lessons, that love isn't enough if it's built on deception, that family loyalty has limits, that money can corrupt even the people you think you know best, that sometimes the only way to save yourself is to walk away from everything you thought you knew. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 34 years old. I'm a pediatric nurse. and I survived a betrayal that should have destroyed me. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I'll ever fully trust again. But I know this. I'm stronger than I thought I was, braver than I believed I could be, and I'm finally free. The lies are over. The truth is hard, but it's mine, and that's enough. For now, that's enough.